everyone. Give everybody like another minute here. Thanks for coming to my talk. This is exciting. I got like 10 people out there. All right. Yeah, that's good. All right, how many people are in college right now? All right, we got a few. How many people are at Marquette right now? We got one. Was that one back there? No, okay. That was itching the cheek back there. All right, so we call it, where are you guys, local, Wisconsin or Richmond? West Side, okay. Awesome. Who else? Out of state college students or? Fox Valley. Okay, so you guys had a little drive down here. Nice. All right, you guys got cybersecurity teams yet up there? Or all right. Well, you do now. You're the founder. You're the co-founders right here. So, yeah, I really am a huge believer in teams in general, cybersecurity teams specifically. My name is Andrew Paullin. Here's a whole page about me if you'd like to read. Industry, 27 years, serving my employers and the general public. As time goes by, I've started to naturally and then intentionally, take a more public benefit perspective. I think it's really important for, society and, peace, prosperity, all of that. So, come from electrical computer engineering background. Been doing, I call regular IT for quite a while, and then woke up one morning and sort of looked at the landscape globally, said, you know what, United States, we're not perfect, we try to do the right things, and yet people, continue to attack us, continue to take advantage of us, and so I was like, hey, what can I do? What little bit can I do to help with that? And so that's the backstory for why I'm here today. So thanks for coming. So I'm midway through the computer science master's program in cybersecurity at Marquette. And so my advisor started this program about 14 years ago, and it's been really good. A lot to learn, and every year, grow. And so mission and vision, so we founded a team about a year and a half ago. Just again realized this coming to this conference has been really amazing for me, as you all know, right? I got trying to figure out how to get my badge to light up and start doing things. So that was a win. I thought I had to hack it, like it actually was just this little tiny switch that I missed on the side the first couple times. But yeah, so much to learn and do here. I won't read every one of these slides. I may encourage you to definitely ask any questions you may have. Be the difference. That's Marquette's motto. Just try to live that out into the world. Doing these tournaments as many as we can. It's tough, right? We all know priorities, balancing school and home life and homework and projects. So it's hard, but it really pays off. You get to do things that you don't get to do in class, right? And you start to really work with your professors, and they start to see, it helps. I would say helps them. You work together. It's a team, and how can this class or that class become better? What kind of new classes do we need? And that's really important for the school in the long term. So. I'll just quote the last part, right? Form women and men for others, help students and the entire community become the kind of leaders who will make important contributions to their communities. So, a lot of words here, right? So what are cybersecurity tournaments? Certainly not going to read every one of these words. This is what ChatGPT says, but it's all relevant. Like, I'm actually really, for the most part, impressed with ChatGPT. So, I view it as like, I know there's a lot of concerns in certainly academia, right? With is it your work? Is it ChatGPT? The way I've started to approach it in class is just, I think as long as you quote it, where the source, but using it as inspiration for yourself, and if you are, using that to form your own ideas, I think it's all good. So, but yeah, we all know I think we all know this is cybersecurity hacker conference. We all know what tournaments are. So, but first, CypherCon. I just had one contribution to the whole CypherCon story. So real quick, these are birch bark shoes. So the sock, one step away from socks. So the Birkebeiner was a rebellious movement in Norway, almost 1,000 years ago. They escaped they evacuated the Norwegian Prince Haakon from it was like a civil war, so he was heir to the throne, and they skied over the mountains on skis, right, and wore birch bark leggings. So historically these shoes were a sign of like poverty, right? So they were being ridiculed, this group, and they took it and turned it into a sign of strength and wore birch bark on their, as leggings to, protection and just that sign of strength as they successfully escaped over the mountains. So fast forward, again, almost 1,000 years, American Birkebeiner, northern Wisconsin, 40,000 skiers. And I will tie this back into team-based cybersecurity, I promise. 40, all over the world, 50 kilometers, a marathon, and it commemorates this escape in Norway. So it's a really good, you're just so happy when you're done. So yes, that is a beer. My friend had it for me waiting, and it was really the best beer I've ever had, I tell you. Yeah, so what actually is a team, right? So we could spend a whole presentation, we could do research projects on team and how to form a team and techniques and everything, and the science behind it, right? All really important research to do, but I mean, we've all been on teams. We all, in yourself, right, how to do that and what it takes to build a team. And so I would summarize it as trust in one word. Charlie Munger says the seamless web of deserved trust. That's a phrase that's stuck with me for many years. You need to translate this into into your language, right? Into the language of your friends or your classmates or your professors, your school, your community, et cetera. To put it in the context of the United States, I've came up with the phrase, the saying, protect and advance the interests of the United States and our allies through global leadership in policy, cybersecurity, information technology, right? So to me, it cuts right to what are we actually talking about in this broader, I think that we can get into war, like the face of war changing and so forth, but I don't think we're unfortunately as a species, I don't think we're going backwards. So hopefully, but that's the goal. But as of now, it's kind of getting worse. So George Washington, very forward-looking. The best defense is a strong offense. Make them believe that through offensive operations, that's the surest line of defense. Ronald Reagan, repeated something similar. Peace through strength. Weakness invites aggression. I don't know if you've seen this in your life, but these words aren't to tell us to go be aggressive, right? There's a difference between aggressive and assertive, right? Those words are very, very different, and so that's how I would describe the importance of the United States being assertive on the global stage, not aggressive. And I think generally we're really good at that. So we all know about red team, blue team. Best way to learn how to defend is to attack. I'm sure you could, jujitsu and all these other ways that you could describe this. I would say both are important simultaneously. So we somehow had some success. We had quite a bit of, it's been good. You may recognize Juan Pablo out there from Sprocket Security. He's been absolutely instrumental in this team. We were able to bring home a trophy from Mississippi last summer. So that's Dean Heidi there of Arts and Sciences. Dean Heidi Bostic, his doctor, was really good. The college has been very supportive. And Hack the Port. So last summer, so this is inspired by Cyber Command. Missy, there's a whole organization. Critical infrastructure is the idea. So this was like pumps and motors and like things that would be in a port filling up ships and things like that. Very large IoT presence. And it's a ton of fun, a lot to learn, intense, obviously. The top quote here is kind of the official quote, mission critical, Cyber Command, critical infrastructure, those type of things. I like to focus on the second one. Our favorite part was breaking the PLC and the motors, and they had to call the field engineer to get it working again. Like literally, it was like we were going, we were collaborating with the organizers, and it like wasn't totally clear if we were allowed to do like what we were doing and actually break it. And yeah, so it was quite fun. And they, literally back in Maryland, they had to call the engineer to figure out how to get it running again. So fast forward almost a year now, they've added a reset button because of us. Now they're like, okay, yeah, we have to be able to easily reset the system, which it's fairly obvious, but I mean, they're growing. And so this year, next week, actually hacked the building. So it's like a full simulated city, traffic lights, cars, buildings, HVAC systems, like anything you can imagine, again, another large IoT presence. So like I said, it's really a lot of fun. It's a ton of fun. I highly recommend getting into all this if you're not already. Our competition is elevating significantly. JP knows that. He reminded me of that the other day. I mean that in the context absolutely of the tournament, but it's really a broader context, right? I mean, look at other countries. Even you talk about math and science and just the level of study and dedication and commitment that other countries have taken to elevate their standard of living and their knowledge. And so we have a work cut out for us. I mean, as Americans, right? I could go on and on about that part of it, but that's why I say each of us, hey, what does this mean to us? How do we take this back into our daily lives, and what little small changes at a time can we make to start inching the needle in a better direction? So these are most of the tournaments that we've done. We are working on a Marquette tournament. It's like I said in the beginning with priorities, we need more time to dedicate to that. Marquette in general is very good about public benefit and staying, helping us stay focused on that, but we have to take it on ourselves as well to carve out the time to just like conferences like this. So I noticed a lot of more Marquette students here this year, which is odd. Like literally, I think JP and I last year were the only two students that I was aware of. It just kind of, and so Michael Getzman has been fantastic at helping us along. He has come and spoken at our department events in the past and so forth. So just all good things. Yeah, we could definitely get into some specifics on all this. Pico CTF is awesome. I'm sure you've all been involved. It's available all year long, super, all different levels from basic up to advanced, and it's one of the times that helped me realize, like, oh my gosh, like reverse engineering, like I'm actually kind of good at this, or starting to maybe show some signs of being actually good at this. So it just takes practice, as you know, right? So it's all the stuff that we know that we've studied before in our classes and so forth. It's just applying it, right? How can we apply that towards broader goals? So yeah, and one highlight here in the lower right corner. So CyberForce, Department of Energy, again, simulated critical infrastructure, so forth. Two of our teammates, you end up specializing in certain areas. So two of our teammates took on the red team and they got 10th. This is out of hundreds, 200 teams or so, and without really being all that, nothing magic. It's like just hard work day in and day out, and they did really well. Like they were waiting for the red team in those contexts. So, there's opportunity for volunteering. We had one of our graduates from the program be a red team volunteer at CyberForce, and that's awesome, for him. And now going, he's probably going to do that every year. He was a participant as well back. So yeah, highly recommend getting involved as much as you can with these programs. Take a little broader perspective. Coding competitions. So I'll start with the good news. April 19th at Marquette, Wisconsin Dairyland competition. One of our teammates has been helping run that. We've been doing it like over 10 years. Really good. So if you have any high school aged, friends, family, community, schools you're involved with, definitely get them plugged in. Great event. I don't know how much we can count on, everybody else out there anymore, right? Google, you may have seen, it's their last coding tournament competition now after 20 years. Yeah, we'll just leave it at that. Like, who can you count on, right? You can count your friends, family, your community, your school, so your state, your country, right? But it's like you just have to, call to action. So that's what brings us again the call to action. I don't mean, you all know what that means to you. I'll just throw up some inspirational quotes that have helped me. Hillel the elder, if not me, who? If not now, when? I mean, one of my co-ops, around to it. This guy in the lab made around to it. So it's like I'll do that when I get around to it. Well, now you have around to it. So you have no more excuses. It's time to go back and make some of these things happen for yourself and your community. How can I, helping us think about how can I help? And, I'm speaking to myself on all this too, right? I'm not trying to be up here telling everybody, telling things what to do. It's like, this is what has helped me. How can I help rather than what's in it for me? It's so easy. You see it all the time. We're humans at the end of the day. What's in it for me? But really, just consciously making that decision, how can I help? And obviously, John F. Kennedy asked not what your country could do for you, what can you do for your country? Going back a few years, right? I mean, here 250 years later, we're having the same conversation. This is John Adams. I must study politics and war that my sons may have liberty to study mathematics and philosophy. So thankfully, 250 years later, we are able to study mathematics and philosophy. But is it, is all this cyber and defense and everything, is that really somebody else's job, or is it ours as well, right? Whether that's in your organization, in your school, your town, your traffic lights, right? So, I think it's really important that we think like that. In my case, I was told, JP, coming into this conference, I was so excited to plop my bottom down at the CAN bus hacking table and not move. Well, I haven't gotten there yet. I went to the ISP modem hacking talk, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like I have to do that first because is your home network secure? I don't know if my home network is secure. I mean, what about your family? It's like, I want to know, like, I want to eliminate the guesswork from this technology, right? I mean, technology is complicated, eliminating the guesswork, starting at home. So I must study ISP modem hacking so that my sons may have liberty to study CAN bus hacking and critical infrastructure. So that's the way I would encourage us to look at it. Abigail Adams, you cannot be, very complicated quote. Don't be inactive. There's too many high sounding words, too few actions that correspond, right? So it's about taking that again into action into our daily lives. And let's see, that's really all I had to say. I could say more. I tried to go fast just so we didn't, we got 10 minutes left. I don't know, any questions or, there's money available for this. There's scholarships. There's, yeah. I mean, we should talk with some of your universities here from around. I'm glad to see so many collegiate representatives here, students. So yeah, it gets interesting when you talk about federal, all of that stuff, politics and budget and everything. But yeah, thankfully there's money there to drive a lot of this. I just happened to look at the Google information with the coding competition. I mean, I think it was actually quite a challenge to win a T-shirt at a Google coding competition. And yet, we go to these tournaments and a T-shirt is like a given. I mean, but I don't want to say it a given because nothing's a given. I mean, it's like we have to continue to work together to deliver on this mission that has been set. I would say by our federal and by our governments, our federal, state, community, local, tribal, yeah. So. What JP? What other stories could we could come up with a million here? Yeah. So this hacked the building. So last year they split it into two. So there was a commercial, what I call commercial or private tournament, and then there was the what we call executive leadership forum. So the CAE community, that's what we're talking about with all this. We found, I mean, there's a lot of cybersecurity tournaments like CCDC, right? College, National Collegiate College Cyber Defense Tournament. I would love to be able to do that. You know, we're not there quite yet. You know, we found enough activity and resources, people, teams within the CE community we didn't need to look beyond. So, but this year they're combining them together. So, what I say, we're elevating significantly. Like all of a sudden, you know, cyber Olympians. Like I did. That's a literal statement. Like U.S. has a cyber Olympic team now, and last July was the inaugural event globally in Greece. So we sent Olympians, and so that's who we're competing against. Like we were literally competing against Olympians. I mean, yeah, I'll just tell you right now. So I admire these programs that have been doing this for like 10, 15, almost 20 years. They are the ones producing the Olympians these days. You know, the large state schools. So I'm still trying to figure out, like, I'm curious if anybody has input, like the puzzle of, you know, there's this puzzle of like academia, right, with research dollars and federal, you know, public funding, state funding, federal funding. And I don't, you know, it's this super complex equation, and I'm like fascinated by it. And I just, you know, I don't have time, you know, I haven't had time yet to really spend the time to understand that. But yeah, that drives a lot of this. And so, you know, why Marquette ended up taking the lead on this in Wisconsin rather than UW-Madison, you know, I don't know. Like I looked at Madison first when I decided I wanted to come back to school. Madison was my undergrad. I just assumed that Madison would have everything. But then as I learned a little more about it, I'm like, oh, okay, so this works a little differently. I mean, there's a huge like community college associate's degree aspect of this program. Not that this is a talk just about the program, but yeah, you know, so just I think it's really just very grassroots. You know, if you talk to like cyber games, so we're competing on Saturday in cyber games. So that's the NCAE one. We got second in the regional, just by like a hair last year, and that the team that we got second to in the regional ended up winning nationals, and they sandbag all their CTFs. So like literally like the last 30 seconds, they just flooded the scoreboard with CTFs, and we're just like, okay. So, but we did the same thing and hacked the port back. So that was pretty cool. But, you know, so yeah, it's all about just working together as a team. And yeah, that's all I have to say. Any questions or thoughts on that? Yeah. Sorry. Yes.
So can you talk about the feedback loops that you create out of each competition? How are you feeding that data back to the players, to address skill gaps, to get better for the next one?
Yeah, absolutely. So getting the professors on board and plugged into this is absolutely critical. You know, we're at the point where we're probably going to have a class that's just we've been working towards it a while. You know, yes, it's going to start as one credit, but yeah, if I were to sit down and start sketching one of these programs, like architecting, so to speak, I'm like, yeah, I would start with a class dedicated to this, because it's hard to get people to be dedicated to something that's extracurricular, right? So it's just, you know, everybody knows Marquette for basketball. Well, I say, well, they've only won one national championship, and you know, we're coming. So, you know, yeah, it's only been a year and a half, but they've been playing basketball a lot longer than that. So, you know, you got to build the program. I mean, you pick your favorite movie, you know, Hoosiers, Miracle, whatever, right? It's like, it's tapping people on the shoulder. That's the way I've heard it again and again, to build something like this. I mean, yes, you have to architect it, and yes, you have to have funding, but I really, like for myself, like the Berkebiter, you know, I have a ton of excuses. Oh, I hurt my foot or whatever. It's like just focusing on, you know, gosh, there's a saying, right? I think what's next is what's most important. It's not the ultimate goal that we don't have to get there tomorrow. Like journey, you know, there's a million sayings, whatever. You know, Gandhi, like journey of 1,000 miles, right? One step. So yeah, but as far as specifically feedback loop weekly practice, I mean, gosh, going up to, we have one of our members all of our members are awesome, but one in particular is just particularly focused. We practiced every day for 2 hours for 3 months leading into that July tournament, and I can tell you that's the only reason we won, because we learned how to work together as a team. And I mean, we all been on teams, but I mean, I'm just saying, like, if we did the science behind it, do not underestimate the importance of, like, stuff you don't understand about, like, human nature being together and all those things. It really affects a lot, and you can see that in the results when you're in the team like that. But yeah, definitely as many feedback loops as you can do, right? Like, whatever, postmortems, after action reviews, like just taking all the really good ideas that people have already done. I'll give you another one, OODA loop. Yeah, if you don't know what, go look it up. There's this fighter pilot in Vietnam, and he was just literally the best fighter pilot I think ever. And just, I haven't memorized the acronym, but like orient, something, decisive action, and then take action, right? OODA. So yeah, and then do it again, and do it like every 3 seconds. Like, that's if you need to, right? I mean, there's different cycle times, but yeah, just keeping the flywheel moving is the other way. I was on the rowing team in college, so yeah, we did a lot of like the gamuts, is these big flywheels. So yeah, you got to keep it spinning, because once it slows down, we all know, right? And we've all been on that team where, like, you can tell it's like slowing down, and it's like, okay, what are we doing? And so just got to, once you get that, have the end in mind, think long term, and just inch it along, and just keep moving in the right direction. So, yeah. Any other questions? So you guys are all ready to go back and start your teams now at Fox Valley up there? All right, I think we might be out of, yeah, a couple minutes. So, well, we can close it there, but yeah, unless there's any other comments. Yeah, again, really, thanks for coming. Really, I didn't know what to expect. I thought maybe there'd be like 3 people, or maybe a room. And then all of a sudden I came to the last one, and it was like a full room, and I'm just like starting to freak out. It's like, oh my gosh. So, yeah, I've done a lot of presenting, but just not maybe not every day. But thanks for coming.